Hello, my beautiful Patreon supporter, and thank you so much for supporting me. This is an extended version of a class I have on YouTube. This is a 50-minute dynamic Vinyasa class. We're going to move in all kinds of different directions, some funky transitions, some funky poses, a nice Shavasana at the end. So this is a really nice practice that I actually do myself first, and then I record for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this practice. Let me know down in the comment section how you liked it. And with this in mind, all you need for today's practice is just your mat, your body, most importantly your breath, and whenever you're ready, let's begin. Let's begin on our back in half Shavasana. Keep your legs bent, your arms by your sides. And let's take 5 breaths to reconnect with our breath. Surrender, melt into the pose. Feel the gravity pushing you towards Mother Earth. On your next exhale, lift your hips up for bridge. And we hold it here for 5 breaths. Release. And let's find our way into tabletop. Your shoulders are above the wrists. Your hips are above the knees. Stay on your toes. Lean back. Bring your hands closer to your knees. Lean forward and stretch out your wrists. Continue moving back and forth, putting pressure onto your wrists and just warming them up. Let's do circles around the wrists. The other side. Now let's have our fingers pointing towards our knees. Let's release. Now we're going to flip our palms and land on the tops of our hands and lean back. Let's release. Stay on our toes. Shake out our wrists. And let's find our way into a plank position. Tuck your tailbone. Engage the core. Push the ground away. And on your next exhale, let's find our way into downward dog. Bend your knees, make sure that your back is straight, you're lengthening your back. Walk your dog, pedal one foot to the floor and then the other. On our next inhale, let's bring our right foot up and back. Hold it here. On an exhale, shift forward, step your foot between your hands for a runner's lunge. Hold it here for a bit. Stretch out your left hip flexor. And on your next inhale, bring the energy up for a high lunge. You can look up if you want to. Make sure that your ribs are engaged, your core. On your next exhale, open crescent lunge. Now what we can do is we can hook our left elbow with our right knee, and then we can bring the hands together like this, and then start to push with our hands into our right knee. So this is a very active position here. You're twisting, you're pushing, you're holding. So much on going on. Let's release into a spider lunge to the left. Your toes are pointing the same direction as your knee. Make sure that your foot is not collapsing here, but it's engaged and the toes of the right foot are pointing up. On your next exhale, shift forward for an extended triangle. So keep your right leg bent, fingertips on the ground, and your left hand is reaching above you towards the front. You can place your palm down if you want to. Let's release, bring our left palm to the ground. And now we're going to find our way to wild thing. So we're going to come onto the side. We're going to come to the side edge of the left foot. Slowly bring our right leg above for a wild thing. Look to the top of the mat, bring your palm there, right one, and come back to a plank. Clean up your plank. Take an inhale here, and on your next exhale, downward dog. I'm gonna take off my, because it's getting warm. It was really cold before. Find your breath in this downward dog. On your next exhale, shift forward. Shift forward for chaturanga. Untuck your toes. Upward facing dog. Squeeze your glutes and downward facing dog. Bring your left leg up and back. Shift forward, step it between the hands for a runner's lunge. Feel your right hip flexor getting stretched here. On your next inhale, bring the energy up for a crescent lunge. Your left foot is 90 degrees. Your hands are reaching up. Imagine that you're holding a ball above your head. It's pretty heavy, so you have to make sure that it doesn't fall. On an inhale, open crescent lunge. Now bring your hands together. Bring your right elbow to your left knee and push into the knee. Actively keep your right leg straight. Feel the hip flexor. Feel the left leg talking to you. It's all good. Release. Spider lunge to the right. On your next exhale, shift forward. Bring your left palm to the mat, next to your inside of your right foot. Bring the right hand above your head for an extended side angle. Bring your hands down. Bring your right palm down to the mat. Come onto the edge of the right foot. Release your left foot and slowly step it behind your right leg for a wild thing. On your next exhale, look to the top of the mat, bring your palm there, and come back to plank. Beautiful job. Shift forward to a count of 5. Let's lower to chaturanga. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Untuck our toes, upward dog. And downward dog. Bring your right leg up and back. Shift forward, step it between the hands. Shift your weight forward. Lift with your left foot off. Extend the right for a warrior 3. Bring your hands to the heart center. Crown of your head is reaching forward. Your left leg is straight and reaching back. Keep a micro bend in your right leg. Try to lower your left hip so it's in line with the right one. And keep breathing. On your next exhale, we start to bend our right leg for a Shiva squat. Tap the left knee outside of your right calf and bring it up. 2 more just like this. Tap and bring it up. 1 more time. And bring it up. Beautiful. Now let's slowly bend our leg for a spider lunge to the left. On your next inhale, shift forward. Bring your feet parallel to one another. We're going to do a standing straddle forward fold. Now make sure that your heels are slightly more outwards than your toes. And then we're just going to melt forward here. On inhale, halfway lift. And on your exhale, come back to runner's lunge. Place your hands to the mat. And back to plank. Shift forward, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. Bring your left leg up and back. Shift forward, step it between the hands. Now shift your weight forward and we come up to warrior 3. Bring your hands to the heart center. Crown of your head is reaching forward. Both legs are straight, right leg is reaching back. Try to lower your right hip a little more. Keep a micro bend in your left knee. On an exhale, let's start to lower for Shiva squat. Tap outside of our calf and bring it up. 2 more. Let's start to bend our left leg, big step back, spider lunge to the right. Shift forward. Once again, we're going to meet in bit here for a standing straddle forward fold. And let's take 5 breaths here. You can walk your hands back if you want to. Or just keep them here. On an exhale, release, halfway lift. Turn to the front of the mat. Runner's lunge. And plank. Clean up your plank. Shift forward, chaturanga. Upward dog. And downward dog.
On your next exhale, shift forward. Bring your right knee to the chest. Hold it here. Come onto the edge of your left foot. The right leg is lifted. Bring your hand up and extend your right foot away from you for this flying starfish. Set your right knee leg down for a starfish pose. Look to the fingertips of your left hand, and let's set our hips all the way down. Beautiful job. Now here we're going to, let's do a seated forward fold. So we're just going to reach for our feet and melt in this pose. If you can't reach your feet, you can bend your legs, grab your feet and start moving your hips back. And whenever you feel the stretching sensations in your back or in the hamstrings, that's where you stay. Let's take 5 breaths. Let's release. And now we're going to come up the same way we came down. So we're going to extend, bring our feet wider apart, bring our right palm to the mat behind of us. And now we're going to start reaching with our left hand up, and at the same time we're going to lift our hips. So, beautiful job. Bring your left palm down, and now we're going to meet in Wild Thing on the left hand. Engage your glutes. Keep the breath going. Bring your right knee to the right armpit. Hold it here. And now slowly start to place your right leg to the top of the mat for a lizard lunge. Move around in this lizard. Open up your left hip flexor. Let's set our left knee down. And we're going to reach our left leg and start to pull it towards us. Let's release our foot, come back to lizard. And now we're going to step our right foot back for plank, but this time keep the right leg lifted. So this is a 3-legged plank. And now we're going to shift forward, chaturanga, plank, set our right foot down, chaturanga again, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Beautiful job. How are you liking this practice so far? I'm enjoying it. Hope you are too. On an exhale, shift forward into plank. Bring your left knee to the chest. Hold it here. On your exhale, shift onto the edge of the right foot. Extend your left leg away from you and bring your right hand up for a flying starfish. Be strong. Keep breathing. This is a very active pose. On an exhale, land your foot for a starfish. Let's set our hips all the way down slowly. Beautiful. And now same thing. We're going to do 5 breaths in seated forward fold. Let's release. Our left palm goes behind us. And now our right arm is going to shoot up. Oh, bring your legs wider apart. And now arm is shooting up. Lift the hips. Exhale, bring the right palm to the mat. And now we're going to come to Wild Thing on the right hand. Bring your left knee to your left armpit. Hold it here. And slowly start to step your foot to the top of the mat for a lizard lunge. Move around, see how your glutes feel, how are your hip flexors here. Let's set our right knee down. Bend our right knee. I'm going to reach for the right foot and pull it towards our glutes. Release our foot. Bring the palms to the mat. Lift it up. Come back to a 3-legged plank. So where our left leg is going to be lifted. And now we're going to shift forward for 3-legged chaturanga. Plank. Set the left foot down. Chaturanga. Upward dog. Squeeze the glutes and downward dog. Shift forward. Chaturanga, and release all the way to the mat. Beautiful job. All right, we're now going to
Interlace our hands behind our back. Reach with our hands towards our feet. Engage your glutes. Squeeze your butt cheeks. Your hands are lifted off your glutes. And let's release. Take a moment here. Let's push up to a tabletop. Come up. I have lately loved doing the camel because we sit a lot, right? We hunch over, and this is like the complete opposite of that. So bring your right hand all the way to your heels. Bring the left one the same way. Be careful here. Engage your glutes. Keep your neck in line so it's not collapsing. Or if that feels good for you, then feel free to do so. I prefer to do something like this. Let's release, bring our right hand all the way up, and then the left one. Beautiful job. Let's set our hips down. Now I'm going to face you. You can also turn to the long edge of the mat. So make sure your back is straight, your toes are pointing up. And now we're going to bend, and we're going to actively reach for our feet. So for those of you who, if you can reach your feet, then grab them. Bring your chin to your chest, and melt down. The back does not have to be straight. You're rounding your back here, and you're really curling up into a ball. For those of you who can't reach your feet, just actively try to reach your feet and then tuck your chin as well to the chest. And with each exhalation, melt a little more into the pose and open up space. You might feel tension somewhere in the back or in the legs. Whatever it is, it's all okay. Do not run away from the pose. Instead, surrender to it. If there's some tension, let go of it. It'll be painful. But just come back to the breath and you will create more space. Slowly release. With the help of your hands, bring the knees to the middle. And now come into a, what's it called? Not lotus, but when your feet are together, you're going to grab them and you're going to melt forward as well, opening up your hips.
Release. Beautiful job. Let's now come into our stomach. We're going to extend our right arm to the right. We're going to roll onto our right side. Your right leg is straight. Bring your head to the floor. Your left arm is just on your fingertips, so you're supporting yourself. And the more you try to bring your left leg back, the more pressure you create in your shoulder. So this is a great pose to release that tension from the shoulders, from the deltoids, and create more space. Let's release, switch sides. Let's release. And now we're going to bend our left leg. Bring the right one on top. So if you can just stay here, then this is where you stay. If you can go deeper in, and you can bend your right leg more, maybe stack your knees so one is on top of the other. And now you just walk your hands forward and melt into this pose. Let's take 5 deep breaths here. If your hip is lifting up, it's okay, allow it to. But you want to actively, internally push with your glutes towards the mat. So you're creating just a little bit more tension there. And at the same time, you are surrendering and letting go. Let's release. Change our feet. So now the right one is underneath bent. And we'll put the left one on top. And walk your hands forward. Let's release this pose. And now we're going to bring our feet together for a butterfly pose. You can grab your feet, and now your knees are going to fall apart, and we're going to bring our elbows inside and melt into this pose. Let's release and do a little counter stretch for all of those chaturangas that we did and all those holds on our shoulders. So place your feet slightly wider than your hips. Your hands are behind you, fingertips are pointing towards your feet. And now we're gonna bring our hips up for a bridge pose, or like an extended bridge pose. Make sure to protect your neck. Your neck is in line with the spine. So if this feels good for you, feel free to do so, but just be careful. Don't overdo anything in yoga. We are here to feel good and to not injure ourselves or cause any painful sensation. Let's shift our hips forward. Start to land them next to our feet. Keep the hands where they are. And we're going to now take a deep inhale in. And exhale. Melt your chest, your chin to the chest. Inhale, and let's start to release from this pose and find our way onto our back for the final pose of this practice, which is Shavasana. Extend your legs to the corners of your mats. Relax your arms. Take as much space as you need to. Feel your hearts. This is your life force, your breath. This is what keeps you moving. As long as your heart is breathing, you're beating, and as long as you're breathing, you are alive. Let's continue in this Shavasana for just for a couple of minutes. We're gonna fully relax. Focus on the inhale and the exhale. Feel if you're holding any tension somewhere. Bring your awareness to the body. And with each exhalation, try to melt more into the ground.
Slowly start to come back to your breath. If you want, you can stay in Shavasana for as long as you need. You can also come to a comfortable seated position. Bring your hands all the way up, palms touch. Bring your palms to your heart center. I want to thank you very much for practicing with me today, and be proud of yourself for doing this class with me today. You took the time for yourself. To feel better so that you can make and help other people feel better as well. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my practice with you. With lots of love and gratitude. Namaste.